to modern wisdom. What modern wisdom? Yeah, a video from Modern Wisdom, and say Jordan Peterson shut up work panel on racism. Ooh, after asking this one question, this one F question. Let's check it out. Racism, always playing the racist card.
Racism is a global and vague term.
Sorry, but why would you possibly do that? What did that mean?
Because I said it was a global and vague term.
The inverted commas as if it's not a real thing.
No, that isn't what it meant.
Well, what did it mean then?
It meant that it's indicative of low-resolution thinking.
What you are about to see is a classic example of Jordan Peterson's mastery over words. In the midst of a high-stakes debate with the BBC panel, Jordan Peterson tackled an array of contentious topics, among them the ever-polarizing subject of racism. His approach to this sensitive issue sheds light not just on his perspective, but also on the broader discourse surrounding race relations today.
With the revelations from cricket's Azim Rafiq and footballers still taking the knee, what does this say about racism as a continuing undercurrent in present-day Britain?
I think the same point I made earlier applies, is that things need to be particularized rather than generalized, as a general rule, let's say. And so this cricket player was facing racism by his own account. The question is, who, when, what, exactly? Because otherwise it degenerates into something like a discussion of structural racism.
See,
and when it becomes abstracted up to that level, first of all, that pits group against group, which I think is entirely
does not come close to
counterproductive.
Jordan Peterson.
And it actually
That's why
doesn't
they
address
don't
the
really
issue.
understand the point he's making.
Racism is a global and vague term.
Sorry, but why would you possibly do that? What did that mean?
Because I said it was a global and vague term.
The inverted commas as if it's not a real thing.
No, that isn't what it meant.
Well, what did it mean then? Explain.
It meant that it's indicative of low-resolution thinking. What I mean by that is, we use all these terms frequently in discussions like this that are containers of undifferentiated content.
He was repeatedly called abusive terms directly linked to his ethnicity.
By who?
By not just one, but repeated members of the Yorkshire Cricket Club. He's had people contacted him. If it walks like a duck, Jordan, talks like a duck, it's a duck. It's racism.
I'm not denying his experience.
Right.
What I asked was exactly who and when, and you just answered that question. So I would say those specific people should be held specifically to account for their actions before any movement up the abstraction hierarchy to a discussion of something like structural racism, which I don't think is helpful.
Well, he has talked about institutional racism in cricket. He says that's what he's experienced as a term, institutional racism.
Right, I know. And like I said, I believe that abstracting up the problem to that level of analysis does no good because it pits groups against groups. I think it exacerbates the problem, the concept of structural racism. It's too imprecise. It doesn't address the issue. Now, that does not mean racism does not exist. That is not what I'm saying in the least.
Peterson's examination of racism isn't confined to overt acts of discrimination or prejudice. Rather, he delves into the complex interplay between individual responsibility and societal structures. He argues against the oversimplification of attributing all disparities and conflicts to racism, suggesting that such a viewpoint diminishes the multifaceted nature of societal issues and individual agency. One of Peterson's key arguments revolves around the danger of reducing the narrative to a single dimension where racism is seen as the root cause of all societal ills. While acknowledging the undeniable existence and impact of racism, Peterson cautions against its use as a universal explanation for every form of inequality. This perspective invites a more nuanced analysis of the issues at hand, taking consideration of other factors that may contribute to disparities, such as socioeconomic status, educational opportunities, and community support systems. Peterson's stance aligns with a growing body of research suggesting that effective solutions to racial disparities require a multifaceted approach. For instance, a study published in the Journal of Economic Perspectives highlights the complexity of addressing racial inequality, pointing out that policies solely focused on anti-discrimination may not be sufficient to eliminate disparities. Instead, the study suggests that a combination of strategies addressing various aspects of inequality is necessary for meaningful progress. Furthermore, Peterson challenges the narrative that views all disparities through the lens of oppression and victimhood. He advocates for empowering individuals with the notion of personal responsibility and the capacity to overcome adversity. This perspective resonates with the ideas of scholars like Thomas Sowell, who argues that a focus on self-empowerment and personal agency has historically been a key driver in overcoming racial barriers.
Guys, here, the problem is that they cannot comprehend the underlying facts that words like racism, homophobia, misogyny, is it misogyny? I think so. Hey, I used to silence the opponent, but rarely used to address the problem. Why is that? They rarely use it to silence the opponent, though, but they don't actually use it to solve the problem, to address the issue there. Like, they cannot address it directly. People arguing against Jordan Peterson unsuccessfully having merely to accuse him of racism, like without any substantial attendance, like therefore quasi him or teaming up against Peterson is just cowardice and disgusting. Like, so if the Britain country, because I know the Britons, Britain, they were among those people that fought against the end of slavery. Like, some of them sacrificed their life to end slavery, but now I think they are being accused, like, they are being accused of racism. If Britain country was a racist country, then why is the cricket team trying to team up with the British team? Why? Like, are you guys not sick and tired of all this racism, playing the racism card? It's not everything that is racist now. It's not everybody that is racist and everything that is racism. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Like, watch, and subscribe to my channel, and have a wonderful day ahead. Bye bye.